Well, good morning, guys, or I guess it's noon, afternoon. Well, the old farmer and I went out to the garden and harvested. We were gone for a few days, and so we harvested cucumbers and green beans. Off of my little bean patch, I got more than I thought I would. Let me show you. This bowl is full of green beans, so I'm fixing to wash these and start snapping green beans. So let me get these washed off and I'll show you what I'm doing. Now, why do I call this canning green beans for beginners? I'm the beginner. I have never been able to grow green beans, and so as you saw in an earlier video, I just had a little tiny patch of practice beans and I did an experiment. If you remember, I got some black beans, some dried black beans, and just put a few in the dirt and they grew. And I'll tell you what, guys, they're producing better than these garden seeds that I bought. Go figure. I don't think I'll be buying any garden seeds anymore. I'll just throw the beans in the dirt from the house. So let me get these. I'm going to wash these off and then I'm going to start snapping beans. Okay, guys, I'm done. I snapped my beans into, 1 and 2 inch pieces. Garden experiment, fail. As far as those black beans, when I started snapping the beans, those black beans, no matter if they were really young, whatever, they were really tough. So I went out, I pulled all the black bean plants, which was maybe 5. There's not that many beans out there, I've showed you that. So I'll just keep my little corner of the, I think they're called Blue Lake beans. I'll keep my little corner of those, and I'm thinking I might plant some more here in a week or 2 and get another crop of beans. We'll see what happens. But now I'm hoping that I can get 2 pints of beans, just because I want to say I canned some green beans. Y'all know I don't like to use my canner when it's only half full, but what am I going to do? So I brought my little canner up. I don't have Cinnamon Girl, and I'll get started. I think this is supposed to be really easy. I've heard that green beans are the easiest for new canners to do, and I think so. I think you just put them in the jar, cover them with a little water and salt, and process them. So let's see where this goes. Okay, guys, I've got, I washed my jars in hot soapy water. Since I'm pressure canning, they don't have to be sterilized. I've rinsed my beans. They're over here. I got water boiling here. I'm getting my Tatler lids and rings hot, getting them to simmer, and right in front of the camera is my pressure canner. So I'm going to start putting the beans in the jars. And I just read somewhere, for safety reasons, you should always can at least 4 pints or 2 quarts. So I guess if I don't get 4 pints of beans, I'm just going to do water. Anyway, I'm going to get these filled up and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my beans in the jars, the pint jars. They did say if you hot pack, which is you boil the beans for, I don't remember, a few minutes, get everything hot, that you'll be able to get more beans in your jar, and that makes sense. So I'm probably going to end up with a lot more water in here, but then I can say I got 3 pints, right? So this is canning salt. You want to make sure you use canning salt anytime you can, because it doesn't have the extra additives to it. Table salt has anti-caking. It's a ½ teaspoon for a pint, a teaspoon for a quart, and I kind of like the added salt in the green beans. And then you take hot water and just pour it over your beans. You leave 1 inch headspace. And like I said, I just read you need to have at least 4 pints in a canner for safety reasons. I've never heard that before, but I'm not taking any chances. So I've got a jar of water here. And then you go around and debubble. And so I'm going to debubble everything, and you probably will need to add a little bit of water. 1 inch of headspace, yikes, this is hot, comes to this ring right here. So let me get everything debubbled and any added water added to it. Okay, I've got the 1 inch from the top, the beans and the water. Always, I'm just going to dip in the hot water here. Always wipe the rims of your jars. You want to make sure it's clean so you get a good seal, and you're also checking for any cracks or chips. So I've got my Tattler lids and rings in here. The reason I've got them in there getting hot is so those seals, those rubber rings, will soften a bit. And make sure I get a good seal. Okay. Now remember, you do not tighten these down, not the Tattler lids. And right here's my canner. Got 2 inches of water. Ouch. Yowza, yowza, that's hot. So far, I'm very pleased with my Tattler lids, but believe it or not, I ordered 200 of these last spring. I do believe I'm going to have to order more lids. I'll probably order more metal lids so I'm able to give them as gifts. There went my jar of water. Green beans are low acid. They must be pressure canned. Okay, and I know that some of your moms and your grandmas always water bath their beans. They never got sick. Nobody ever died. Okay, that's your family, your thing, but if you read all the safety now, it's pressure can low acid foods. Beans are a low acid food. Now these are pints. They're going to process for 20 minutes. I've been messing up all this time, guys. I didn't realize that we were as high above sea level as we are, so I need to use 15 pounds pressure. And these little weighted, I don't know if you can see, it's 15, 5, and 10. I don't know what the 5's used for, but 15 pounds. Once this starts to steam, steam comes out, and you get a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes, then you put the weight on, and when it begins to jiggle, adjust your heat so you get a slow jiggling for 20 minutes. So I'll be back when this starts to do the steady stream of steam. I'm getting better at that, aren't I? I want to pop back on here real quick and a couple things I forgot to say. Anytime that you debubble, which is very important, make sure you use wood. I've got a wooden skewer, or you can use the handle of a wooden spoon. This is my jar lifter. Sometimes I use it. Never use metal, because you could scratch or chip the inside of your jar, and let me tell you, there is nothing more disappointing to have a jar break in your canner and you lose all of that product, whatever you've canned. You know, and some people will say, well, just pick out the food. No, I don't want glass shards in my food. So And another reason, I wanted to let you know the reason I decided to do the raw pack on the green beans is we also harvested a bunch more cucumbers, and I need to get started on pickles. I've got a couple different kinds I'm going to make, so I'm going to try to be doing 2 videos at the same time, and who knows what you're going to get. Okay guys, here's that steady stream of steam. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes I will put my weight on it. Okay, the timer just went off. 15 pounds of pressure. Now when that starts to jiggle, we'll be back and I will adjust it. I'll show you what it's going to look like, and then once it starts to jiggle and you get it just to where it's jiggling like 4 or 5 times every minute, that's when you start your timing. 20 minutes for pint. Okay guys, it has started jiggling, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my heat down until I get it to where it just jiggles 4 to 5, 6 times a minute. And I've done this enough that I pretty much know the setting on my stove where I have to do it. So I'll come back when I get it at that. There we go. See how it'll stop? That's what you want right there. Now I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes, and we'll be back when that time's up. Alright guys, the timer just went off. So now we turn the heat off, and you just let it come down to pressure on its own. Never pull that off. Never pull the weight off to try to let the pressure come down quickly. Never immerse it in water or pour water over it. That is part of the canning process. You want to let it come down on its own. And we'll be back after it's done that, and we'll see how they turned out. All right, let's see how our beans turned out. What I typically do to make sure that the pressure's gone down, I'll kind of tap this, and if I don't hear the psst of any steam releasing, I'll go ahead and remove it. And it's usually hot. Remove your lid. You want to remove the lid and take it off away from you. Sometimes this sucker sticks. That way, if any steam escapes, it won't go up in your face. Now remember, I use Tatler lids. I'm going to take this out, and you tighten the lid when you remove it. And my 4 jars of water. And I'm not going to worry about tightening that lid because I don't care if it seals. As you can see, or you might be able to see, let's go take a look. It's still boiling in the jars. So I'm going to leave this set overnight, and tomorrow we'll check. Remember to check to see if it seals. You pick up a Tatler lid by the edge, and if it stays, it has sealed. So anyway, just leave these set overnight out of drafts, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Okay guys, it's the next morning. My green beans, I took the rings off. This is how you check. Lift it up by the lid, and if it stays, you've got a good seal. I did have one that didn't seal, which is fine because I was going to make green beans for a meal today because I'm just too excited. I want to see how they turned out. And I'm seriously thinking about planting more beans. I'm going to call this one a success. Thanks for watching.